Today, we're going to be talking about the best way to level up your gathering here in Albion Online. Now, the way that this video is going to be structured is I'm going to show you the best equipment to use, as well as the difference between regular and Avalonian tools, the best food to be using, as well as the different locations that you can gather in the open world, depending on your want to risk more or risk less. Now, the first thing that we're going to go over when it comes to gathering is we're going to open up the Destiny board. And when we go down this blue line, we're going to get to Trainee Gather. And then we're going to come down to all of the different Journeyman gathering. So as you get from tier 2 to tier 3 gathering, you're going to have your tier 3 tools. Once you get down to tier 4 gathering, this is when you can start equipping different equipment sets to help level up your gathering faster. And in this chest, I have the different types of tools as well as gathering equipment that you can use. So for example, if I wanted to work on my mining and I wanted to grab my tier 4 pickaxe and work on mining to get it level up as fast as possible so that I can then achieve tier 5, I would use a gathering set. So this would be the miner cap, chest piece, and the boots. And the thing with these different equipment pieces is their passive is to increase your gathering yield by 0.25% for tier 4 ore or lower for every 30 seconds you have this item equipped. So with this buff, in a total of 5 minutes, we will have 2.5% more gathering yield for tier 4 ore and lower. And the reason that you want more gathering yield, what happens is down here you have a percentage of when you're mining. So when you mine, let's say a tier 4 ore or a tier 5 ore, let's just say tier 5 ore for example, you will get 1 titanium ore. If your gathering proc goes off, so right now, if we were to, let's say that we had a 16% yield for tier 5 ore, if that 16%, if we hit that 16%, it's just a random RNG factor of a 16% chance to get the second gathering proc, we will get double the fame for gathering that node. And this is the reason why you want to increase your gathering yield as you are working towards your gathering. And the best way to do this is to work on these one at a time. So let's say that you want to work on lumberjack, you would use a full lumberjack set. If you want to work on mining, if you want to work on skinning, you'll take out like a crossbow or a longbow, something that can kill skinning animals easily, and you'll take a skinning set and work on that. As well as there's different types of food that you can be using. So there's pork pie, there's different enchants of pork pie, but they'll get expensive. There's also deadeye pie, which will give you crowd control resistances. Some people like to use that when they're gathering in the black zone to help them escape gankers. The difference between gathering in like the blue, yellow, then red and black zones is red and black zones are going to have gatherers, but there's going to be a lot more nodes to collect. Yellow and blue zones, there's going to be tons of people gathering there because it is a safe zone, as well as the max resource you can get in a yellow zone is tier 5. So once you get up to tier 6 and above, you can start seeing those T6, 7, and 8 resources. But when it comes to the pork pie, you get a gathering yield of plus 15%. And then the other thing that we have is the Avalonian tools. So let's say that we're gathering in a safe zone and we want to have a little bit better yield. We're going to take an adept Avalonian pickaxe, which is going to give us a 10% gathering yield to tier 4 ore and lower. So instead of using a regular pickaxe, we're going to use an Avalonian to get an extra 10%. We're going to take a pork pie, get an extra 15% gathering yield. And then we're going to have a full set. And then we could put on whatever weapon we want. Like it doesn't matter what weapon you use unless you're in the red or black zone. You're going to need an escape weapon, such as double-bladed staff, battle bracers, or a bloodletter with a mist collar. There's a bunch of different things that you can do for escape builds, but when it comes to the next tiers that you get, you're going to start getting more yield off of these Avalonian tools. If you do have premium, which premium is going to be a huge factor when it comes to leveling up your gathering, because you're going to get 50%, you get a 50% fame bonus as well as a 50% gathering yield bonus. So with this gathering yield bonus, you have a 50% chance to get a premium proc. The only difference with this though is that if you do get a premium proc, that's not going to give you extra fame, but you do have an extra 50% fame bonus for all activities. So gathering, you'll get 50% more fame, which will help you level up. But gathering yield will just help you get more resources if you are trying to refine or do any different types of crafting. So you can get those resources, as well as if you're trying to sell any of them, you're going to get more profit due to this 50% bonus. But just remember that the 50% bonus is separate and it's not actually going to help you level up faster if you get the premium proc when you're gathering. So you can get a regular. So if we hit the tier 5 ore again, we can get one from the gathering, and then we can also get a premium proc. So that means we got 3 in one hit. The gathering proc is the only one that matters towards getting extra XP. So that's the only one that you need to worry about. So right now with this full set on, we are sitting at 17.5% ore yield. If I was to equip this, which you won't equip it, you'll put a regular weapon on. When you go to actually mine with it, the effects of the ore yield will come into place because you're mining with the pickaxe. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to put it on so we can actually see it. We're at 27.5%. And in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to eat this pork pie and we can see the increase across across the board, it's actually going to increase all of my gathering. And now we're at 42.5%. So 42.5% chance to, if we hit any tier 4 ore or lower, we're going to get a gathering proc, which then is going to increase our fame for leveling up tier 4. And another thing that you're going to want to do, I highly recommend trying to save up your silver. I know it's stupid expensive right now, but saving up your silver to try to get premium, if not purchasing a month of premium to try it out. And then once you have that month of premium, that's enough time for you to make the silver to then pay for premium with silver. But right now, silver prices are absolutely through the roof. If you do have premium, you get 30 learning points per day, and you need to be saving these learning points. So, and it says on the bottom too, non-premium players can earn up to 10 learning points via the Adventurers Challenge bonus. So for people who have non-premium, as long as you get your Adventurers Challenge bonus done, you'll get those 10 learning points a day. And you need to save these. Don't use these over here on any of your armors or weapons. You need to save them for gathering. You need to be taking each one of these. So once we get this to 20%, if we're gathering with tier 3 tools and then our adept ore miner hits 20%, we're going to use learning points to get it unlocked so that we can start using tier 4 tools. If you don't have learning points to upgrade some of these, they are going to take forever to level, especially when you get down to the T7, 8, and T6s, because the amount of learning points that you're going to need is related to the amount of fame that you need. And some of these down here it's tons of fame, and to get even to the 20% mark takes a while. So imagine having to go all the way to 100%. So saving those learning points, or at least getting your activity done every day if you're a non-premium player to get those 10 learning points, is absolutely crucial to help with your leveling with your gathering. We're going to do a little note here. If you are trying to gather, well, you're going to be gathering in all these different zones, but if we want to show the different zones, so for example, this one is going to be a swamp zone. We have wood, skinning, and fiber. If you're trying to find a certain resource, clicking on different maps and looking at the top right, this is the place that you're going to want to look, as well as the rate of enchanted resources in the zone. An enchanted resource has the color of, we have green, blue, and purple. And then there's also 0.4 resources, which appear as gold, but those actually spawn on the map in the Outlands, which is the black zone. And those are usually, a lot of people are trying to collect those. Sometimes you can get a snag on some of them, but they are shown on the map and people can see them from multiple zones away. So clicking on these and looking at the top right, as well as the enchanted resources. Enchanted resources are huge for leveling. So if you are leveling your tier 4 pickaxe and you've come across some tier 4.1 ore, 0.2, 0.3, which, you know, that's the different types of enchantments, you're going to want to collect those because they're going to give you extra fame to the levels that you're working on. And then the most efficient way to gather too is, if you are tier 4, if you are open world gathering with a tier 4 pickaxe, only gather tier 4. You can gather tier 5, but the only difference is that when you gather tier 5, it's going to be exponentially slow and it's actually going to hurt your gains. The only thing that I would recommend is, if you are gathering one tier above your pickaxe, is only do it on mobs. So if you find an ore mob, like a titanium ore mob, and you take it down, you have a 30% gathering speed on those. Every resource mob, as well as when it comes to skinning, it's going to apply to the swift claws, has a 30% gathering speed bonus. So if you do want to get some free fame with some free speed from those, like the 30% speed because you gather them faster, you do have to take them down, but then you do gather faster. The next thing that I want to note is that when it comes to Outlands gathering, which coming out here, I know it can seem dangerous, but there's tons of resources out here. A lot of the gathering nodes and locations out here has tons of resources to gather. It can help you level quick, as well as in the T5 zones, there is lots of stone and like 4.2 low treasure nodes, which have 30 ticks of resources on them. They do spawn and show on the map, but a lot of time in these T5 zones, and I would not do it in the portal city. If you come Marlock portal into the portal city, don't do it here. I would push out to another like T5 zone that's farther out. But in these locations, there's different resource nodes that you can grab that help you level faster, because these resource nodes are enchanted. Most of the time they are enchanted, and they can give you tons of resources. The other place that I would recommend trying out is the Roads of Avalon. So if you go onto any of these maps and pop into one of them, you'll see these blue portals that spawn. If you are going from the Royal Continent, and what that means is the Royal Continent being this small continent down here, and it's not going to be up here where the Outlands is. Most of the time when you hop through some of these blue portals that you'll see on the map, you can get into a tier 4 road, and if there are resource nodes in there, you can find one sorted tier 4 resource mobs. And these tier 4 one sorted resource mobs have 300 plus ticks of resources on them. So you can walk out with 300 plus ore, tier 4, if you can find one of them, as well as it's going to take you forever to collect, but you only have to stand in one location, and you also get that 30% gathering speed efficiently to help you collect it faster. On top of that, if you maxed out your yield with all the different things that I was talking about, you're going to get 42.5% gathering proc every time you hit it. So you're probably going to walk out of there with 500 plus resources, realistically, if you are getting a lot of the ore gathering procs. And then on top of that, if you have a premium as well, you're going to walk out there with even more of the tier 4 ore that you can use for crafting and different things. So these are all the different things that I want to talk about when it comes to efficiently and the best way to level up your gathering here in Albion Online. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned some stuff about the most efficient and the best ways to level up gathering here in Albion Online. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video, and I'll see all of you in Albion Online.